When the water started coming up, I was more scared there than any time I've ever been scared in my life. I could cry to think about it because I didn't know it was going to stop.
I noticed that things seemed to be moving outside, and I thought that trees were going by, and I realized it was our house.
This is by far the worst conditions that we've had out here. And what we are going to zoom in is what used to be part of a fence, possibly part of a building that has blown off, and they were literally flying through the air on Front Beach Road here in Panama City Beach.
This area is not going to be back to normal for a long time.
When you look in there, how do you feel inside?
Sad.
Have that type of damage, it takes some time to get in and actually go through and do the search and rescue.
Everybody we know lost their house. Everybody. And our jobs.
You gotta bite your tongue and your lip and everything and just carry on.
Some of the people that lives back here, they're devastated. I mean, that's just where their home is.
I've been in the fire service 36 years, and to see freight train cars just blown over, semis blown off the road into the woods, it's just unimaginable.
Michael made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, knocking out power to about 500,000 people.
You can see one of the drive-in areas is just been crushed by this falling tree.
Dozens of them snapped in half and are draped across this road.
100-plus-mile-an-hour winds blew this Jeep Cherokee out of its parking spot onto the sidewalk.
And as we direct your attention down to the ground, you can see where some of those panels have actually fallen to the ground.
What you see behind me are utility poles coming dangerously close to falling onto a busy highway.
Oh, it's awful. You just cannot believe the devastation. You know, it's just so bad.
Materialistic things that can be replaced. As long as I have her, this is everything that matters to me in the world.
Hurricane Michael was the most powerful hurricane to hit the Florida Panhandle, and like Brandon just said, it made its way through Georgia and is now here in the Carolinas as a tropical storm.
Well, obviously with the rain coming down, there's going to be ponding on the roadways.
Okay.
There may be some rises on the rivers. The bigger concern isn't so much the flooding from rivers right now. It's if you got more than 3 inches of rain in a very short period of time, you could see some flash flooding. This is a tropical storm. Typically, you get a lot of rain, you get a lot of wind.
We saw significant rain and winds across the Midlands. Certain parts of town hit a lot tougher than others.
This is one of the major incidents that we have seen so far in Columbia, South Carolina. This tree has completely destroyed this home, falling right almost in the middle of it, cutting it in half.
You may not think things can happen this way, but as you can see, they happen. I'm thankful for my life. I'm thankful that my family is still here. While this storm is going on, it's very serious.
This is what people have been dealing with in this neighborhood. This is something they say was actually worse than Hurricane Florence when it came through this neighborhood just a few weeks ago. So this is something that they're kind of used to seeing, but it's definitely not something they want to see on a regular basis.
The high water level here at Gills Creek, indicative of what we've seen all over Richland and Lexington counties. We did find a woman who was very frightened because a tree fell on her home Thursday morning, and now she's worried about what's going to happen next.
Like 2-3 big trees back there, and the fire officer came out and said that the second one, and if it falls, it's going to split it in half. We need to try to go somewhere, but I really don't want to go nowhere to nobody else's house. I just thank God that we are alive.
What looks to be like a small pond or a small body of water is really the front yard of a resident's home here in Bethune.
I need a boat.
I need a small boat. It's just like you think about it and everybody calls and says, how are y'all doing? I was like, well, we have Lake Tahoe in the front yard, but other than that, we're good. We've never had the water in the front yard like this. I mean, our field gets a little bit, usually not as much as it did this time. And then like the backyard got flooded this time, the front yard got flooded this time.
Banded water snake come off the road up the sidewalk, just swimming up the sidewalk like it was looking for a dry spot to get to. It got right up to the steps of the porch. I'd hate to have to leave, but if it keeps on getting hurricanes and the house were to flood another time, I just might leave.
I looked over to my right and saw that the tree had fell, so once I stood up, I realized it had actually fell through the house. And she was panicking. I said, I got to get you out. We're going to come in. And at that moment, we got her and the baby out. Me and the son went in, and then we went in and tried to make sure the father was okay.
It's just stressful. It brings back old memories, and hard to know exactly, what was going to happen after all the flood.
Got up this morning to a raging river in the backyard and in the front yard. The storm of 15, they said it was pretty bad in this neighborhood. Maybe we can get out of here and find us another home similar to this one, and so we don't have to be flooded out again. I don't wish this on nobody.
I just started crying because I see Louisiana, I see Miami, I see people who have been through this before and understand.
I got the call at 4 in the morning to set up and come, but so I left my wife and my 2 kids at home.
This is what we work for. This is what we want to do. This is what the dogs want to do.
You see what it did around here? It snapped trees like they were toothpicks. It was nothing to it. So I'm glad I'm still here. I'm glad I survived.
Are you Marjorie? We just want to get you in touch with your grandson.
Oh, okay.
He called us very worried because he couldn't get a hold of you.
I just wanted to tell you, I talked to your grandmother. I went and saw Marjorie.
Oh, you did?
She is doing great.
Lindsay, thank you.
You are very welcome, Glenn. We just...
Thank you. That makes me feel a lot better.
You're very welcome, Glenn.
I'm sitting here crying right now.
Thoughts and prayers with those who just went through one of the most devastating storms this country's seen since 1851. But rest assured that not only am I doing everything that I can, but the dedicated staff of FEMA and the coordinated federal response is doing everything that we can to alleviate pain and suffering as quickly as we can.